mysteries of ancient civilizations that remain unsolved. In 2024, archaeologists discovered something that forced historians to reread their textbooks. Using aerial laser scanning, researchers identified a massive ancient Mayan city hidden beneath the dense jungles of southern Mexico. More than 6,000 structures were found in this city. Pyramids, roads, squares, and reservoirs lay literally under a layer of vegetation. The study was conducted with the participation of specialists from Tulane University and published in the journal Antiquity in 2024. Imagine for a moment, for centuries, people were certain that the jungles hid only isolated ruins, but laser technology showed a vast urban network stretching for dozens of square miles. Scientific publications, including materials from the National Geographic Society and research groups from United States universities, emphasize that such discoveries force scientists to revise their ideas about the scale of ancient civilizations. And this is where the strangest part begins. If one huge city could remain unnoticed for so long, how many more such places are still hidden under the ground, sand, or forest? Why the former picture of history is starting to crack? For decades, a simple model existed. Ancient civilizations developed slowly, cities were rare, and many regions of the planet were considered too harsh for complex societies. But in recent years, scientific methods are literally rewriting this history. Satellite observations, laser filming, artificial intelligence, and even cosmic particles called muons are now used to study ancient monuments. For example, in 2025, an international research group conducted an experiment on muon tomography at an archaeological site in ancient Jerusalem. The work was published in a scientific archive by researchers from Tel Aviv University and other institutes. This method allows one to literally see through the ground and find hidden voids in underground structures. Think about this. History for a long time was limited by what could be seen on the surface, but new technologies are gradually opening the second layer of the planet, a layer that may contain cities, roads, and architecture that humanity did not even suspect existed. The laser that saw through the jungle. One of the main tools of modern archaeology has become the technology known as LiDAR. It works in the following way. An airplane or drone releases thousands of laser pulses per second. These beams pass through the foliage and record the shape of the Earth's surface. It was this technology that allowed researchers to discover ancient cities in Amazonia. According to research published in 2024 and highlighted by the National Geographic Society, more than 6,000 artificial platforms and roads were identified in the tropical forests of Ecuador, the age of which reaches approximately 2,000 years. This discovery was a surprise.
For a long time, it was believed that the humid climate of the Amazon did not allow for the existence of large cities. But the data shows a complex network of settlements connected by roads and squares. The research group, which included specialists from universities in Europe and South America, suggests that the population of these cities could have been significantly larger than previously assumed. But the scientific discussion continues. Some researchers believe these are full-fledged urban systems. Others suggest that we are talking about a network of ceremonial centers and agricultural platforms that were used seasonally. However, even in the most cautious scenario, a simple question arises. If large settlements could exist in a region that was considered almost unsuitable for civilization, what other parts of the planet might hide similar surprises? Stones that traveled hundreds of miles. Now let us move to another place. Southern England. Here stands one of the most famous structures of the ancient world, Stonehenge. For a long time, it was believed that the stones of this complex were quarried nearby. But in 2024, a study highlighted by the National Geographic Society showed an unexpected detail. One of the central stones, the so-called altar stone, was brought from Scotland. The distance between these points is approximately 400 miles, which corresponds to about 600 kilometers. Imagine the logistics of such a project. The stone weighs more than 6 tons. That's about 13,000 pounds. And all of this happened approximately 4,600 years ago. How exactly did people of the Neolithic era move such blocks over such vast distances? There are several hypotheses. The first hypothesis suggests the use of a complex system of boats and rivers. Some researchers from University College London believe that the stones could have been transported by water and then delivered by land. The second hypothesis suggests a more complex network of alliances between ancient tribes. Researchers from Bournemouth University suggest that the stones could symbolize a political or spiritual unification of different regions of Britain. But here another question arises. If people of the Neolithic era could organize the transportation of multi-ton stones over distances of hundreds of miles, how complex were their social structures? Geoglyphs that can only be seen from the sky. Now let us move to the desert on the coast of Peru. Here are located the famous Nazca lines, huge drawings on the ground that stretch for many miles. Some depict animals, others represent geometric figures. These images are so large that they can be seen completely only from the air. And here's another amazing fact. In 2024, a study published in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences and conducted by an international team of archaeologists discovered more than 300 new geoglyphs with the help of artificial intelligence. Algorithms analyzed satellite images and identified lines that the human eye simply did not notice. This discovery once again raised the old question: why did ancient people create giant images that cannot be seen from the ground? One scientific hypothesis, supported by researchers from Yamagata University and several institutes of archaeology, suggests that the lines were used in ritual processions. People could move along these lines during religious ceremonies. Another hypothesis suggests a connection with astronomy. Some lines are oriented toward the position of the sun and stars on certain days of the year. But the scientific discussion continues, and the more lines are discovered, the more complex the picture becomes. Cosmic particles and underground cities. Now imagine a completely different tool. Not satellites, not drones, but particles from space. Muons are elementary particles that constantly fall to Earth from cosmic rays. They are capable of passing through stone and earth. In 2025, a research group from Tel Aviv University, as well as specialists from the Israel Antiquities Authority, published an experiment in which Muon tomography was used to study an ancient archaeological complex in Jerusalem. The method allowed for the detection of density anomalies underground. These anomalies may indicate hidden chambers or tunnels. This same principle was already applied earlier to study the pyramids of Egypt, with the participation of international research groups and scientists collaborating with space agencies, including specialists working with technologies developed for NASA. If such methods begin to be used widely, archaeology may experience a real revolution, because more architecture may be hidden under the ground than on the surface. Giant plans of ancient cities. Now let us return to Mesoamerica. The archaeological site of Aguada, Fénix in Mexico is considered one of the largest ancient Mayan structures. According to research published in recent years and discussed in scientific journals of archaeology, this complex may be a kind of model of the cosmos. The platform has the shape of a huge cross and is oriented toward the sun and calendar cycles. Its dimensions are impressive. The length of the complex reaches approximately 5.5 miles. That's almost 9 kilometers. But the most unusual thing lies in something else. Archaeologists have not found clear signs of a rigid social hierarchy. There are no palaces, no rich burials that are usually associated with ruling elites. Some researchers from the University of Arizona and other academic centers suggest that the construction could have been the result of the collective work of a large community rather than the order of a ruler. If this hypothesis is confirmed, then one of the largest architectural projects of the ancient world could have been created by a society without a distinct elite. and this completely changes the usual model of how ancient states were formed. When you put all these stories together, an unusual picture emerges: cities hidden under jungles, giant stones transported hundreds of miles, drawings on the ground that can only be seen from the air, underground structures discovered by cosmic particles, and huge architectural complexes created without obvious signs of power. Scientific research of recent years shows that our picture of the ancient world remains incomplete. Recent data opens new questions, and the scientific discussion continues. But perhaps the most important conclusion sounds like this: the history of humanity is not a closed book. Each new tool, whether it is a satellite, an artificial intelligence algorithm, or a cosmic particle, opens another page of this book. And now, I want to ask you one simple question. If in just the last few years science has discovered cities and structures that no one suspected, what will happen in the next 20 years? How many more civilizations are waiting for their discovery? If you are interested in such investigations and want to understand the mysteries of the ancient world more deeply, subscribe to the channel and write one thing in the comments. Which ancient mystery would you like to explore next? Because the most interesting part of human history is perhaps only just beginning to open up.